What's up guys, it's Nicholas, and today, because I'm doing it anyways, I figured I would make a video about how to diagnose computer problems and kind of how to figure out what is giving you problems in your work system. And yeah, because it's never fun. So, the reason I'm making this video is because one, I wanted to make this video anyways, but obviously I kind of wanted a computer to be able to do it on, and I really don't want to break one of my systems just to pretend fix it. So, sitting next to me, as you can see, is actually the system I built for my brother. There are some used parts in there, but all of the used parts are actually from my old system. So, the reason I'm stating this is because I know they all worked when I gave them to him. And being the kind, generous soul that everyone just knows I am, I felt bad and I'm going to fix it for him. So, in this system, there is 16 gigabytes. Yes, there's 4 sticks. There was an order mix-up. We ended up just ordering another 2 sticks of 4, so 16. Don't patronize me, okay? I clicked the wrong thing. I ordered 2 4 gigabyte sticks instead of 2 8s, okay? Just leave it, okay? CPU-wise, he's running an i5-6600K. Actually, the CPU that I recommended to him, not the one that I have. Mine is over there. Yeah, anyways. Cooling that, we have a Hyper 212 Evo. More than enough for the i5-6600K, even with a mild overclock. Which, this is running stock settings on CPU and GPU. I should probably mention that before we go any further. The GPU is the Sapphire R9 390 Nitro. It's actually my old graphics card that I gave him. Again, I knew it worked when I gave it to him. And this is all wrapped up in a pretty bow. And the motherboard, it's the Gigabyte GA7 or Z170 HD3. I don't know any of the Gigabyte names. They're not catchy, okay? It's an ultra durable series. It's a really nice motherboard. I actually gave that to him too. So, I'm missing one part in this that I'm not saying. In the storage, doesn't really matter. It's some 1 terabyte WD drives, whatever they are. The component that I've not mentioned yet is obviously the power supply. It is an EVGA Supernova 650 watt GQ, I believe it is, or GQ. You don't have the box with me. We'll see it when we pull it out. It is 650 watt gold rated, I believe, or silver rated. And like I said, when I had this computer, it was working just fine. Recently, the problem he's having is that when he's playing games, it will eventually just black screen. You'll hear the graphics card fans actually shut off. So we thought it was originally the graphics card overheating. So we dusted that off, pulled it all apart. As you can see, there's dust in the case. He lives in a very dusty house. We thought that was the original problem. It is not. What we have come to the conclusion is that it is not temperatures, and that it is actually somehow a wattage problem with the CPU or with the GPU pulling too much power from the power supply. I never had the problem, and I haven't replaced the power supply yet. I have a 750 watt Corsair. I'm going to pop in there and see how that works. But if that is the problem solved. If not, then this video will continue and we'll go on. But I did say that this was going to be a video about trying to check pretty much all of your components and how you would do that. So I'm going to go through what I went through to kind of diagnose this. So the first thing I did was check the memory. The memory, obviously, having 4 sticks, there's more chance for something to go wrong. There's more components to fail. Like I said, everything had been working, which usually memory doesn't just all of a sudden go bad, but it can. Anything can just randomly go bad. Obviously, test 1 stick of RAM at a time. Check each of the channels. Make sure that it's not a single channel that's borking the whole thing. Just make sure that all of your RAM slots are good and all of your RAM actual DIMMs are good. If anything is covered in dust, undustify it. It could be shorting something out. When dust builds up enough, like in this case, literally, it can cause a problem. That problem can range anywhere from a small fire to just overheating and shorting stuff out. Either one of those is obviously a problem. So make sure you use that canned air and get all that crap out of there. No dust bunnies. Next, make sure, and this is going to sound stupid, that all of your fans are plugged in. Obviously, if your fans aren't plugged in, it's not circulating air. Again, overheating issues. The really good way to check for overheating issues is download a program called Hardware Monitor, HW Monitor. It is an awesome program. Download just the free version. Don't download the pro version because then they want you to, it's like WinZip, okay? Just don't do it. This will show you your CPU temperatures, your GPU temperatures, your everything. Voltage, stuff like that. It is a really helpful piece of software. Now, if you've tested all this and it's still not working, start unplugging fans. This is gonna sound bad. Don't unplug your CPU fan, obviously, but just unplug fans and take off the side of the case to see, because we figured out quickly it wasn't temperature, because even taking off the side of the case and letting it get all the fresh air it could and turning the fans on the GPU to 100 didn't affect anything. It still crashed. Just make sure that it's not something, like I said, an actual piece of hardware shorting. So like a fan, something like that, causing problems with compatibility. Also unplug all the stuff from the back of your computer, and then if suddenly it's fixed, start plugging things in one at a time and figuring out what is causing that problem until you get to the item that, oh hey, the computer just stopped working again. That is probably the item. I would hope that would be obvious, but I feel like I have to state this. Motherboards are kind of hard to diagnose. If it is the motherboard, I don't really know what to tell you. Usually when it's, at least in my experience, anytime it's a motherboard, it's going to be a little more definite because it is going to be more apparent, because it's, when the motherboard fails, it fails pretty hard, usually. Also make sure you check that you're unoverclocked. Overclocking can obviously cause problems and instability, and that can definitely cause problems. If you're overclocked and you're having problems, it's probably the overclock. Well, maybe, probably, possibly. Don't quote me on that. Again, don't quote me on that. And the last one, the one that we're going to try right now and see if this thing boots up. But first I want to show you guys the problem. So we're going to plug everything in, and I'm going to show you guys just what I mean by it's freezing up and stop working and all that. Black screen of death. Let's get it plugged in and let me show you, and then we'll swap everything out. All right, guys, we're sitting in front of his computer now. Obviously on the test bench monitor. Well, it's actually the monitor from over. Just ignore it. Anyways, we're going to load up Heaven Benchmark, DX11. It is sure to crash this every time. At the moment, every time I load this up, it crashes, which is good because that means I can test it almost instantly without having to get into a game. But it's bad because it obviously shouldn't be crashing. And as you can hear, the fans just kicked on. It actually might crash before we even get in there. I think it might be something with the system drawing too much power. But we have the fans kicked. I'm sure you guys can hear that. Whew, okay. Oh yeah, you guys can definitely hear that. Okay, so we're gonna click run. And I'll tell you guys what the temperatures are at and all that good stuff. I'll probably just cut this out. So, all right, and we're in, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna let this run until it crashes, and then I'll cut to the part where it obviously stops. So 65 FPS, 80 FPS, 85 FPS. The temperatures are in the 60s, so which is where it always crashes. So if this doesn't end up being what is wrong with it, if the power supply is not what's wrong with it, obviously then it gets more complicated. Then it becomes, I have to look at the graphics card, as in something on it is overheating that isn't being monitored. Because the core getting up to 60 should not crash this GPU. It could be a thermal pad issue, it could be VRMs becoming unstable, anything like that. And there we go. As you saw, we saw some artifacting before, so it might not be the power supply. I'm very worried about this. Here, let's just shut her off. I am very worried about this, obviously, because a new GPU is expensive, but if that's what's wrong, you don't really have a choice. So I do have a 740 he could use, a GT 740 he could borrow. I know it's a great card, but if we can avoid that, that would be awesome. And obviously if we could avoid him having to spend that money, that would be awesome. So I'm going to take this apart now, put in the new power supply, and see where that gets us. All right, guys, and we're back to where we started. It's hours later. After some more testing, swapping a whole bunch of parts out and stuff, my worst fears are what has actually happened. After much testing, I mean a lot of testing, because I didn't want it to be this, The culprit of why the computer is locking up is the graphics card. Of course, it couldn't be something simple like the power supply or anything like that. This is that R9 390 Sapphire, the Nitro. Amazing card. It runs super hot though, and I'm almost wondering if my brother's room isn't the coolest place in the world. I'm wondering if it shortened the lifespan of the card, if that's why it happened, if it is just like a thermal paste issue. I've already contacted Sapphire to see what they say about it. If they tell me, because I've only had this card, I bought this in March of 2016, so I've had it for about a year and 3 months. Actually, no, a year and 3 months, almost exactly, a couple days over. But if they say, sorry, can't do anything about it, which they shouldn't, but in case, if they just say, hey, we can't do anything about it, I'm going to tear the card. Well, I'm not going to tear it apart, but I'm going to take the card apart, replace the thermal paste, replace the pads, and if that doesn't work, then I guess new graphics card for my brother. He has been looking at the 1060s. He already wanted a new graphics card. This did kind of push him up on that, though, because obviously not having a graphics card to play on kind of is a bummer. I almost didn't finish this video just for the fact that I felt kind of like kind of defeated after this whole thing. But I want to still make this video because I want you guys to know that you have to test everything. I know that sometimes it sucks and you're like, I don't want to replace my parts. No one does. But it happens. Parts die. That's what warranties are for, well, most of the time. So yeah, just go through the steps like I said. Test everything. And honestly, most people, if you've got something like this in your system, this and your CPU are your two worst nightmares for failure. Motherboards are usually like $100. Power supplies are usually like $100, which, I mean, no one wants to fork out $100, but no one wants to fork over, $400 either. So it can never be anything simple. But like I said, I wanted to make this video and keep it going because I want you guys to still see that even me, I don't get as lucky as to not have a GPU break. So, well, I guess it's not technically mine anymore, but that is what it is. I've tried 3 other GPUs in the system. Nothing. They all work. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna try to end this on a positive note, positive energy. Tomorrow I'm going to possibly order my Audio-Technica mic. We'll see. But it's looking good. So Twitter and Instagram are in the description. So is my Amazon affiliate link. If you want to help out the channel, use that. Makes it so I can do more cool stuff. I love doing cool stuff. Makes great content for you guys, Makes it so it's not super boring. And yeah, I guess that's about all I have to say. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're not as unlucky as me. And I'll see you guys in the next video.